Welcome back to the channel. My name is Wong, and today I'm super excited because we are featuring a very special Japanese icon. And this car is far from its standard form, and it's probably one of the most serious street cars to be showcased here on the channel. And this vehicle is none other than this iconic 2013 Mitsubishi Evolution 10. And I'm here with the owner of the car, Denis. How you going, man?
Good, Clay. Thanks for having me on your channel.
This car looks absolutely crazy. And this, guys, is the Evo that you want to have. It's the 2013 GSR model, so it doesn't have the SST automatic. It's got the 5-speed manual. So Denis is going to talk to us a little bit more about the car.
Yeah, so a couple of things we've done to it is fully built in-house. Got the 2.2 Nitto stroker kit in it.
Show us the engine, man.
I can show you the engine. Yeah, let's show you the engine.
So the stance on this is super low and aggressive. I really like that, and it's pretty much still in its factory form, right?
Yeah, so I've done a couple of cosmetic things, nothing too much. Just a nice shape, the roof, everything just complements it together. It's running the Öhlins coilovers, so yeah, it handles pretty good for a big car.
I think Mitsubishi just hit the nail on the head with design for all their evolutions. They've just done it so right. So anyway, enough talk about that. Let's talk about the 4B11. It isn't the 4G63 that you know and love, I guess. However, there's actually something really good about the 4B11.
Yeah, so 4B11, obviously because it's got the dual myriad exhaust and inlet, we're able to just get more response and refinement out of tuning as well, just to make it more street daily. And obviously when you want it on power, this car is currently running the 2.2 Nitto stroker kit.
Jesus.
So it's factory 2 litre, I went to the 2.2. We wanted to get a package out there where it kind of is responsive on the street, good on the track, good for a good balanced car, which is what you want in a car like this. It's running the intense 5960 RS ball bearing turbo, so it's a factory location, so you can see there's no big turbo hanging out, everything looks pretty factory. It's running the 214B camshafts, Calford valve springs and retainers. You got your 17cc ID injectors, 525 Walbroke pump, and yeah, just all little bits and pieces to complement this build.
So I think everybody wants to know now, Denis, how much power does it make?
So on our Heartbreaker dyno, it's currently making 410 kilowatts at 34 PSI with 580 Newton meters of torque.
Jesus, that's like 600 horsepower at all 4 wheels.
Yeah, that's right. So in American terms, 600 horsepower is, well, wheel horsepower is what it's making at all 4 wheels. So at the engine, yeah, probably a little bit more. But yeah.
And otherwise, apart from the engine, is everything stock?
Yeah, so driveline is pretty much all factory. So factory transfer case, factory rear diff. The only thing that's been built is the 5-speed gearbox by Neat Gearboxes. Fresh synchros, diff pin mod, which is quite known on the 5-speed where they start to walk out.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to see how this thing drives. I featured a lot of different Evos here on the channel, but nothing of this caliber, especially in the 10 platform. So it's going to be really cool to see how this car fares, guys. It's going to be a giant killer, I'd say. Given that you get to work on so many epic Evos, I guess what's your reasoning behind jumping in this platform as opposed to anything else?
Yeah, so obviously when I was younger, this was my dream car, Evo 10, and literally when I had enough money to buy one, I bought it, and I have my dream car, and obviously as anyone does, just spend more money on it, so that's why I love it. Just the looks, the aggressiveness, just everything about it was just, it just was for me, yeah.
In terms of response, how does this compare to, I guess, a 4G63 built Evo?
Obviously been a whole new platform, so 4B11T compared to the 4G.
Yeah.
It's definitely a much more refined motor, much more responsive. People are probably going to hate me for saying this,
I was about to say that as well.
Look, personally, you know, we've done hundreds of Evos, and obviously...
Have a look, guys. All the Evos in the world.
Yeah. It's a nice responsive motor. The platform has come a long way. Obviously it hasn't been as long out as the 4G, but in America, you know, they're making 1,000 horsepower, stock block. It's getting there. So
would you say it's more capable than the 4G in some aspects?
Probably not, only because it's aluminium block compared to the cast iron block. So it is a weaker block itself, but once sleeved, you know, it's got the integrity there, which will be as strong as the 4G. But again, the response in this, it's out of the world. Yeah.
So Dennis, can you take us around your shop?
Yeah.
Because there's a fair few dream cars out here, and I'm sure people want to know which are the fastest cars that you've got here. Apart from yours. Okay. All right, let's go, guys.
I mean, the ones that are working, none of them have engines, to be honest. They're all here for engine builds. We've got, so this is in for our 350 ppm kilowatt package. We have a couple of rally arts here that we've done as well, which is our 180 kilowatt packages. We're doing another 350 kilowatt package Evo 6, the Evo 3 here. This one's running a Garrett turbo. This one's closer to the 400 kilowatt mark. Wow. So once we fix a couple of gearbox issues, she should be pretty good.
Literally Evo heaven out here. But I think a lot of people are going to be screaming at you and just wanting to know a little bit more about that red rocket over there.
Yeah.
What's this thing?
So this is my personal Honda EK1. It's a track car of mine, and to tell you the truth, amazing car to drive. And now it's time to pretty much go to the B16 series, fully built. And
Sweet.
We should see how that goes,
I mean, they're just awesome bang for your buck cars, but let's not talk about any more Hondas here on the channel because I just do it way too much. Well, thanks again for showing us around.
That's all right. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait to see how this Evo is to drive. So if you guys want to see more epic car reviews, automotive builds here on the channel, consider subscribing, and let's get straight into it, guys. All right, guys, we're hopping in the Evo 10. I'm super excited to drive this thing. Super lumpy. Wow. All right, so the owner of this car, Denis, has told me to deactivate traction control. Okay, I think we're sorted now. Okay, I've driven a stock standard Evo 10 MR. And that thing was a whole lot of fun to drive, but this car is a completely different beast to that. It's literally got every single thing done to it. All the bells and whistles has been put onto this Evo 10. It's going to be a showcase of probably one of the best Evos I have driven to date, but let's just see how it drives first, guys. Nice. All right, we're cruising, guys. Feels like a stock standard car for the time being. First impressions on the Evo 10, it's pretty easy to drive. I mean, when you're not on it, it doesn't feel like a modified car apart from the clutch. Although, it's fairly light, the inputs are still nice and factory feeling, and there's definitely a sense of refinement in this car that still makes it feel like a pretty capable daily driver if you wanted it to do so. So the owner of this car, Denis, he's owned it for a fair few years now, and he's completely transformed this Evo 10 to what we know now as probably one of the most serious street-built Evo 10s here in Melbourne. And so let's just see how this thing fares. It's designed for track use and pretty much a toge car. So it should be right at home here in these corners. Let's see how it goes, guys. Wow, this thing is absolutely bonkers. Wow, this car feels so natural. Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. That was my first pull in this Evo 10, and it feels like I've known this car for a fair amount of time. It feels so organized in a way that just makes it feel like anyone can jump in this car and enjoy. Oh, this thing definitely boogies. You know, it doesn't actually scare you in a way. It still feels confidence inspiring, and then when you meet a corner, it's right at home. You can really power at the apex, and it just grips right through. It's paired with a set of OLED's DFE coilovers, and you've got some really fat CE28s with some Hankook RS4 tires, and my god, this car drives like it's absolutely on rails. And heeling and towing feels so natural, and all the driving inputs feel exactly where you want it to be. And my god, the soundtrack on this car. So Denis has made this car completely from the ground up. He has done every single thing on this car known to man. And it revs out to 8,200 RPM. And honestly, it's kind of hard to reach. Just the way it builds power, it's absolutely instantaneous. It feels so responsive. And I can see why he's decided to go with the 2.2 stroker. At 3.5, there's torque already, and it continues to build and build. But the car just communicates to you in a way where you can really sense the limits. Wow. This thing is nuts, guys. For a car that makes me feel so comfortable immediately within jumping into it, I don't think many cars have the same sensation and feeling as that. And still, it feels so enjoyable to drive. You don't actually have to be on full throttle to enjoy this car, because still, it handles on rails and there's a bucket load of power. No matter whatever speed you're going and whatever power you're pushing, it still feels like a driver's car in so many aspects. And at the end of the day, it's still a 4-door sedan. So for sheer size and practicality, it makes for a really practical car. And when you want to get on it, it absolutely boogies. And that's why prices on these Mitsubishi Lancer Evolutions have gone through the roof. Especially for the GSR, because it comes with the 5-speed manual transmission. That's essentially what you want in these cars. To pick one up, you're looking at spending around the 35,000 Australian dollar mark, and they just go up from there. They've really rocketed up in recent time. And so if you're looking for one, I definitely consider picking one up before they become out of reach. They are honestly just a super capable platform, whether you're driving it on street, on track, in the mountains, or even in drag racing specification, whether be it an Evo 5, an Evo 6 Tommy Mäkinen, an Evo 8, or even in this Evo 10, they're all exceptional cars, and it's just a shame that Mitsubishi don't do it right like they used to. Every single Evo is unique in its own way, and in the 10, it's definitely the most refined, the most luxurious, and the most comfortable. This interior is decked out with leather everywhere. There's still a few remnants of cheaper plastics, but you can look past that because it still feels like a really premium edition of the Lancer. And I love these Recaros. They really hold you in this driving position, and it feels so supported and bolstered that you actually don't move in the seat at all. It's a lovely factory Recaro. And then this gear shift is a WK short shifter, and it feels lovely. Really notchy, and you know exactly which gear you're in. The steering wheel is nice and small. Although not much feedback through the wheel, it is still super responsive. In a car that weighs 1,600 kilos, and although that sounds like a fair bit of weight, when you're really going in this car, it completely feels like a lightweight, agile sedan. And it's just the magic of the all-wheel drive traction that they've put into this car. Evo 5 that I drove just a few weeks ago was such a raw and visceral driving experience. You really had to turn that car into the corner and just step on it to unleash the power that it has to offer. And it's still a bucket load of fun. However, the 9s, the 8s, the 7s, they're just such capable cars. And then, yet again, when you jump into the 10, it's even more so. I don't know, guys. I'm really smitten by just the way that this car builds power. It's an insane amount of response. And normally when you're thinking about a 2-cylinder turbocharged engine, response normally isn't its forte. It's all about the top end power, and in this car, it just completely transforms what you would know about response effectively. Look at that, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little bit of scrub there, but you are really traveling at lightning speeds in the Evo 10. And it just pushes you to keep going faster and faster. It's actually insane just how capable this car is. I would love to take it out on a track, a toge run, or even a drag strip to see how fast it goes down the quarter mile. This thing is seriously one of the most insane street cars I have ever driven, and yet it's still so comfortable to drive, and that honestly blows my mind. If you want a car that combines practicality, comfort, and performance all into a package, the Evo 10 is definitely one of the best cars out there on the market. The clutch is a little bit tricky. But wow, Dennis, this thing is seriously insane. I just want to say a huge thank you to the man Denis for allowing me to showcase this epic Evo 10 here on the channel. If you guys have enjoyed it, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button. In the comments below, tell me what you think about this Evo 10, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Please take care. Bye for now.